Welcome back to another episode of Cinespection. I'm John, and of course, my wonderful co-host Gabe is up here in the top corner. This week, at Just Ryan again, our friend Ryan is joining us to talk about Mortal Kombat and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, whatever we're calling it at this point. Anyway, I don't know what you guys want to do. If you guys just want to jump right in, is there anything we should be talking about?
No, nothing happened this weekend at all. Nothing happened yesterday. It was completely normal. You know, I went to a state park. I did a hike. That was awesome. And then the day ended. There was no evening. So all good.
All right, everybody. So we're going to ignore the giant elephant in the room and just keep on moving through that. So right
this
now,
is
we're going to
not that kind of podcast.
Yeah,
this is not that kind of podcast.
Yeah, let's just keep going, right? No tangents today. So today we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat, or I'm going to lead us off talking about Mortal Kombat. And first, we're going to go without spoilers. All right, no spoilers here. What are y'all's general opinions on Mortal Kombat? Because I think they're different than mine.
I think it's funny. I think Gabe just dislikes it. John really likes it, and I'm directly in the middle.
I'm in the middle too.
Oh, you're in the middle? You did?
I'm right in the middle.
Then you really are just cynical, man, because the way you were explaining it really did not sound like you enjoyed it.
No, I mean, okay, look, it's a silly movie. It knows it's silly. It has fun with it, but it just seems like it's like trying to be serious, but at the same time, it's just as campy as the 1995 version, which was kind of confusing because the trailers made it seem like there was this gritty thing, and just because it's violent, it's not gritty. It's like kind of like trying to do Sam Raimi without doing Sam Raimi to me.
I mean, come on, though. It was good. It
was all right. It was all right.
Like,
it was fun.
What are you going to do? Like, I mean, all right. If you went into this movie expecting anything more than you got out of it, you went in expecting too much.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I went in expecting to see the actual Mortal Kombat itself. I think that's like my biggest flaw with the film.
No, they're ramping us up to a second movie.
But I don't know what they're ramping
but to stop with the spoilers before we do the spoiler warning.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, man, dude. This movie is hard to like talk about with me without spoilers. I'm just going to say I'm 50-50 on this.
Okay. Were the fight scenes at least good?
Those were the really high highs, in my opinion. I didn't think some of the fights, like the Jax fight, if you really want to call that one a fight, I thought that was the worst one out of all the quote-unquote action and fatalities. I thought
you say Jax versus the guy with the axe.
Ryuk, Ryuk, however you pronounce it.
I mean, I thought like the fatalities were awesome. And I don't want to talk about those too much without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
But like, I love the fatalities.
Here's the thing. They got most of the people in the movie are like stunt people. You know, they have experience in stunts. So I thought it was going to be like the Raid. Like the fighting in the Raid is like, you know, mostly no cuts, like on camera, like you see them like go at each other. And it's something that Chris Stockman pointed out in his review, and I didn't realize something was bothering me about the fights. Besides too choppy, they keep cutting, which is unnecessary because you got all these stunt people. You cut when you have Tom Cruise doing it, you know, like because Tom Cruise can't do that much. He's old, or Liam Neeson.
I was gonna say Tom Cruise is the bad example considering that he does all his own stunts, including flying his own helicopters.
He does, but sometimes the fight scenes are a bit choppy because he can't really do this that much. So anyway, point being, it's very choppy, and also something that Chris Stockman pointed out is that they don't really fight. Like you don't see them getting bloody as they fight, you know, like punch, oh, here's a bruise, punch. That's what happens in the Raid. Like the more the fight progresses, you see them more bruised. Here they're like normal, like they're like the MCU, and all of a sudden fatality, and it's like blood everywhere. So it's kind of like the escalation is not really there, and it just felt off to me.
I've noticed with the fighting in particular, when you're not watching Scorpion versus Sub-Zero or like the real martial artists that came on to play in these movies, that's when they start having trouble with the editing. Like when you're watching Jack's fight, for example, I thought it was a really horribly edited scene. I didn't like it whatsoever. But then you look at the way the first 7 minutes with Scorpion and Sub-Zero fights,
it's
and then the
amazing.
last one, they were really great. I thought the choreography was really good. The cuts were really good. And then you go to more of the Sonya stuff, the Kano stuff, the more, I guess you can say, not so martial artist characters. That's when the editing and the fighting I found to be more choppier than more so. I don't know if anyone agrees.
Yeah,
with
no,
me on
I
that.
mean, I agree with you, but that's the same with almost any movie like this, right? Like any movie.
No. I mean, that's the point. No, it's a
No,
fighting
come
movie.
on.
It's a fighting
Come on,
movie
they-
starring
They
stunt people.
always
Like,
do this.
no,
They
it did
always
not.
cut away.
Besides the ultra violence in the last 2 seconds of the fight, they felt pretty tame. They all
No,
did.
yeah, I definitely agree. And when you compare it to the video game, there's like a lot of subtle like press A moves or double press X where your character will just slide and cut the character you're going against. Like they don't do any of that stuff to show that they're actually like
No.
wounding them, which I agree with
Exactly.
Gabe. It just feels very PG-13 up until
Yeah.
the very end where they're like, oh, we have to show this really cool body smash moment.
I mean, again, this does not mean we hate the movie. It's just fair criticism.
I
I
just-
love that you want to defend
No,
it. I would say
so
the same.
here's
if I
the thing.
liked it.
Here's the thing. It is a Mortal Kombat movie. We just watched the Mortal Kombat from 1995 last week. I would take this 100 times over last week's shitty Mortal Kombat movie. And that's taking
Wait. You're talking about
Let's-
the first one or the second one?
the first one.
I mean, that is a question that I have saved for later, but we can do that now.
We can do
Which
it.
one
Hang
do you
on.
prefer?
Like, can you put up a
Like,
spoiler
because-
warning? Because I want to die.
Yo, you got John riled up.
Yeah. Okay. we're doing
Guys, spoilers from now on.
So yeah,
yeah.
look, no,
Not that it
the
matters in
1995
this
movie
fucking
was
movie.
so shitty.
So was this one.
No,
This one was just
so
as
much
shitty.
better. So
It was the
much
same
better.
fucking thing. It
No,
was the
no.
same thing.
Oh my god!
Nah,
In the
bro.
'95 movie, Sonya literally does the dumbest move ever to kill Kano. She like does the like handstand and then like locks him in, and then they cut off camera for him to like do the kill. I will say one thing they did not do during any of this is like cut off camera for the like kill scenes. It just like it just I don't. It's a much better movie. I don't really care about the Mortal Kombat games because I haven't played since I was like 10 years old. Like I watched this movie going into it, and this is the problem. Maybe this is your problem, Gabe. When this first came out, you were super excited, and what did I say? I was like, I was like, nah. I was like, I don't really care. So like, I didn't give a shit going into watching this movie, and then like last week, I really didn't give a shit. So like, it was like a buildup of me not wanting to watch this, and then because of all of that not wanting to watch it, when we did watch it, I was like, this is awesome. Like, it's so much better than I thought it was going to be. So
But
like,
why though? Because it starts. Okay, so the first scene is really,
the first scene
really
is
great.
awesome.
The first scene, it would have been great in any movie,
Yeah.
any movie. And then all of a sudden, like they kind of like go to gritty with what's his face, Cole, and I thought that was kind of like okay, well done. And all of a sudden, they go to the Shang Tsung, and that guy, Mr. Lau, was terrible at Shang Tsung, like terrible. He doesn't have the physical presence. He's like the anti. Oh fuck, I don't forget his name. Kerry Hiroyuki
From the original. Yes.
From the original guy. I'm sorry, but you're.
Yeah.
But
I will say that was the one character I thought was better in the original.
it starts being gritty, and then all of a sudden it just becomes super dumb, and then all of a sudden
That's why I loved it. It wasn't more
Kung
than what it
Lao
was
shows
supposed to
up,
be.
and then like just like whoopie doo, and then Kano carrying the movie. Why the fuck
Yeah.
is Kano carrying this movie?
I
He's
think
the only guy that acts
Dude.
like a person.
it's crazy. I think with Kano, they kind of just replaced Johnny. Kano just
Yes,
turned into
yes.
an Australian Kano mixed with Johnny to try and compensate the Cole switch with Johnny, which I think ultimately really hurt this film the most
Yeah.
because the Cole story was just really poorly done, and I don't think that he very much acted very well at all in that, unfortunately.
But so here's the thing. I didn't go into this movie with any expectations of acting. I thought it was going to be shit, and it was. I didn't go into this movie with any expectations of Oscar-worthy editing. I didn't go into this movie with any expectations of it being much more than a B film. And I think that's why I'm sitting here like defending it, is because I went in with just like, this is going to be another shitty, like, American knockoff kung fu movie. It's going to be bad. And then I watched it and I was like, it's not that bad. Like, it's pretty good.
Sure, that's fine. I think that's a fair point. Your expectations were way lower. I don't dislike it. Come back, I said dislike it. I had fun. I was never bored. I watched it like at 10 p.m. Remember, John, I texted you. You were asleep already because I'm in the West Coast. And I enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Rachel, my girlfriend, was asleep after like 20 minutes. After that first scene, because the first scene kind of like I wish the whole movie had been like that first scene. But all of a sudden they were like, let's just go full dumb. And like, the fatalities don't really resonate. Like Kung Lao dies and you're like, oh, whatever. I don't like that guy anyway. And then more people it doesn't really feel like they knew what they were doing. They were just like all over the place. By the way, reminder, because I just said a spoiler again, but I don't think it came together as well. I would rewatch it. I would buy it on Blu-ray. I had fun with it.
Yeah.
But I think it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that this was it is nothing more than just a popcorn flick. And I don't think that we should go into it with any more expectations. Like, would I be happy if I would have paid to go see this? No. I would have been pissed if I would have paid to see this. But like, I didn't pay.
Really?
Really?
I wouldn't have been happy paying for it.
I would have been fine. It's one step under a Transformers movie to me.
It is one step above, and I'll do the opposite. It is one step above the most recent Rambo movie that came out.
That was terrible. That was
terrible. Fucking awful.
But it was so bad. Terrible. But the only good part about that movie was
there was no good parts about that movie.
All violence. That was the only good part about that movie.
Yeah, but
it
that
had
movie
no
was
plot,
boring.
no acting, no
no tangents, but that movie was boring as fuck. That movie was just,
it was
no.
But hang on, you ever gone back and watched First Blood, by the way?
Yes.
If you haven't, then you should know that movie is also boring as fuck for 90% of it.
Okay, here's something. I've never seen First Blood.
What?
Or First Blood Part 2 or Rambo 3. I've only seen 4 and 5.
What?
I know.
Oh, dude, no.
Sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, but First Blood is just not. It is not a like gritty action. It has gritty action movie parts, but it never was meant to be an action movie. So like, anyway, I don't want to. Let's not get down that. Anyway,
let's go to the next point because
how the hell haven't you seen First Blood?
No, anyway, next point.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, it was all right. So the story and the pacing were bad. I'm perfectly okay with that because I didn't expect anything more than it. Other than that,
the story, to Ryan's point, Ryan, you were making a point about how it starts when it's the Mortal Kombat is about to start.
Yeah, I think I'll go against you guys. I'll be honest. I had decently high expectations for this film. James Wan was the man to get this project off the ground, which was like the first thing that really caught my interest after hearing that they were thinking about rebooting this franchise. James Wan was a massive fan of the franchise, and he shows himself to be a very credible filmmaker. So that's step number one right there. They had a good budget. I think the budget was around $95 million. So they had the budget to back it up. So that's another thing. They gave it that R rating to have that violence, the language, and truly let the characters represent who they are. And it was going to go straight to movie theaters. And I'll be honest, I think a good portion of those actors are decent actors. Like Ludi Lin, I don't think he was the best Liu Kang in this film, but I don't think he's also the worst actor in the world. I liked him in Power Rangers and stuff like that.
That was him.
Yeah.
You know where I spotted him from? He was in Black Mirror in that episode where Anthony Mackie and Jaya are having sex. right? That's the episode, right?
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
the
in the video
episode.
game. In the video
You mean
game.
in the Mortal Kombat game?
Video,
in
yeah,
fucking,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat. I think it was more like Tekken. But anyway, it's not the point. Like, yeah.
Like the thing is, he was a terrible Liu Kang. I mean, to the characters, he was a garbage Liu Kang. Like terrible. He didn't have any physical presence here. He was whining about Kung Lao to the point of I keep pressing. I believe there was like some sort of love story between Kung Lao and Liu Kang. They were doing something. He was too sad. You don't get that sad for no. There was something.
Look, dude, the director who even did this has never done a movie before.
Yeah.
Another problem. You give a guy that's never done a movie $95 million.
Yeah, but you can tell where all of it went. It's all in the special effects budget. Like 100% of that is.
But it doesn't even really have like the crazy special effects.
I think that's funny because I think the blood is fucking awful in this film. Like it looks so bad.
Very CG. It looks CG.
Very
everything
CG.
Everything is CG in the film. Like I wouldn't be surprised if everything was shot on a green.
But like everything that Sub-Zero does looks fucking A-class, dude. Like it looks so good, and then you look at the blood, you're like, you couldn't even get the blood right. I don't know, like I'm not like a visual effects artist, but I just find it so odd how out of all the visual effects, I found the blood to be like the one to stand out the most, and took me out of the fatalities a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
but I still thought the fatalities are cool. Like for example, I think it was when Louis Tan was, or shit, I actually said the actor, when Cole Young was fighting Goro, they did my boy dirty in
Look
that
at this.
film.
Look at this.
Oh,
we got Amanda.
Oh,
hey, thanks for having me, guys.
That's
Thanks for joining. Here's the thing, man. I mean, we're wrapping up. We're wrapping up Mortal Kombat, but we realized that none of us are fans of the Falcon the Winter Soldier. I thought Ryan had been a bigger fan, but apparently not. So we needed somebody to like keep us level.
Understandable. I get it.
Let's just close it up, John.
Yeah, well, let's close it out on Mortal Kombat. Look, you guys were way overhyped on a movie with a horrible director who had no directing ability. Bad screenwriters. By the way, if you just look at all the screenwriters, the screenwriters are dog
who
shit.
are the screenwriters?
One is his first movie, and the other one made like a shit movie. Keep talking while I look it up.
Look, all right. So the screenwriters were horrible. The director had no experience. Most of your cast is like freaking Gabe said, they're just stunt doubles. Okay. So, like, you had a cast made up of stunt doubles with a director who had never directed before and a screenwriter who had never written a screenplay before. Of course, you're going to get this movie.
You know what movie had the exact same thing?
What?
The Raid.
Okay, but I don't mind any of these problems. I like the movie. Let's close it out on that. I know you guys aren't the biggest fan. I think Ryan had way too high of standards for this.
I'm looking forward to the sequel, though. I won't lie. I am looking forward to the sequel.
Oh, come on. There was not a better way to and this is the last thing,
bro,
to walk off at the end and the poster be in the background. I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I was like perfectly okay with that.
The tease for Johnny Cage felt like the tease for Tommy at the end of Power Rangers in 2017. Yeah. It's just like, look, here's this character that never's gonna fucking come. That's never gonna come.
Okay, look, you want to know what the screenwriter, the other screenwriter has written? Wonder Woman 1984.
Zombieland explains it.
Yeah. So Zombieland Double Tap, that one was good. Zombieland Double Tap was good.
The Expendables 1, 2, 3, and 4.
No, just one, because the others he's just characters. And then Godzilla 2014. So he's not good at the characters, this man. I mean,
he's not.
He also wrote Doom
consistency
with
either.
The Rock. Oh
shit! I've never seen that one. They say it's kind of fun. I have it on my list on Netflix. Or like I've had it.
We'll watch it anyway. All right, let's get moving to the next thing.
Skip gears because this is where it's gonna get entertaining. We got this awesome poster to like kick it off with. Oh look, now nobody's face is
covered.
Yeah. I mean, so this is not about the last episode. This is a series review. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Spoilers for everyone. because like you've seen it. Bob's Adventures Vlogs and More says hi, Amanda.
Hey.
Hi, Bob. Wait, how do I? There it is. All right, so let's start with just general question. Even though we have spoilers, you can say whatever you want. Was this a good show, Amanda?
Okay, so out of the 6 episodes, the series as a whole, there were many issues. Do not get me wrong, but because the characters are so close to my heart, that's where I am like a little biased. But I do understand why people dislike the series as a whole. Characters weren't written properly. Flag Smashers were literally a waste of time, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, what were the Flag Smashers doing? What was their plan? I watched
They were
6 episodes.
smashing flags, bro.
What was the plan?
Gabe, I still have no idea how to explain it to you.
Okay,
I
I
have
can
no
explain
idea.
it. I can
Yes,
tell you
John,
what
it's
is going
Can't.
on.
No, you cannot. You liar. You liar.
All right,
believe
I
you.
can
I believe
totally
you.
try, Gabe. You
You
might.
do.
All right, so after the snap in that post 5-year world, they dropped all the borders across every country, and it was like everybody helping everybody else, right? And then now that everybody came back, they're trying to reestablish global borders. And literally, these people are called the Flag Smashers because they want to smash the flags of all of these countries that are popping back up. That is the point.
Yes.
No,
is
no,
weird.
there's
It's
something
weird.
John missed. There's something John missed.
Go ahead, Ryan.
John missed that the government's also favoring the people that blipped back after they disappeared.
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
So
yes, fine. But what they were doing contributed to that point? Because they were like stealing back scenes or something?
No, they were literally in basically like what are they called? Refugee camps and being starved to death. So they were trying to steal food. And then finally the girl realized, like, look, us just being like on an app and getting a movement going isn't enough. They only respond to violence. And that's when she blew up that building, is like, you want an Avenger to come and like actually take on what's going on here, then you need to respond in a way that's going to get global attention. And the only way to get global attention is like what Zemo did, blow up the UN. So what did she do? She blew up an entire facility.
I hear all of that, but the issue with me is the fact that, and we've talked about it, is that the Flag Smasher in the comic book is one person. So I think that if we had one person called the Flag Smasher, which
but this isn't a comic. But this isn't a comic.
I understand, but I still think that Carly by herself versus like 6 other people that we don't give a shit about is like easier to handle in a story that is overstuffed with like more villains and more characters in this for a 6 episode.
But the point is, this is like on a large global scale, like this is the point of a movement. Like movements should be more than one individual person, and like what they're trying to do here is like personify other movements that are going on inside our own country today.
I get it, but it still didn't translate well because you had 6 episodes. If they had, it was longer, like 8 episodes, 10 episodes, and they really fleshed out and made us connect with these characters, then it's understandable. But I didn't give a shit they were on screen every single episode. Like I didn't care that they
I
were
would
there.
shoot myself if I had to watch 10 episodes of this.
Hey,
but to be fair, that was the second question. Did it feel rushed? And I didn't want to watch more of this thing. I was happy it was done, but I did feel rushed. So let's start with Ryan, because I think you've talked the least. Do you think it was rushed?
Honestly, I just think that it should have been a movie more than anything. I think they should have dropped the Flag Smasher storyline and maybe save that for another series, or I don't know, just not fucking do it possibly. And then
literally.
If you don't do it though, what drives the plot forward?
I was about to say I'd much rather focus on John Walker and Isaiah Bradley. Like they could have done a whole good episode on Isaiah Bradley alone and John alone, showing both their backstories, and they're both kind of contradicting and building up to Sam's story. And the Flag Smashers really are just kind of that third party just to fuck around. They're not really there to build his arc. They're kind of there to create more chaos. So I feel like that's just a lot of the fat they needed to cut off, and they just decided to mix it in, and it just don't taste good.
I think
here's the thing.
But how would all right? So John Walker wouldn't be needed. first off, if there were no Flag Smashers. So that whole plot line is just like whatever at that point.
I mean, you
Not-
come up with a
not
villain. I think his point,
No.
you just
Not
come up with another
necessarily-
villain.
You would have to
Yeah.
have a villain of some sort.
Right, but like that's
But you
where
can
you
get-
had the
if they can
power
keep
broker
Zemo.
or Zemo. You had like
Yeah.
multiple villains here, and John Walker it like technically was there to like be
Defend
the
America.
contrast of Sam Wilson.
But do you really want
Well-
to use a good villain when you can just use a shitty one like the Flag Smashers to like prove your point? Like, so here's the thing.
But
Like,
why bother having shitty ones?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So here's the thing. When you talk about like Ultron, right? A lot of people were pissed off at Ultron because you took one of like these big, awesome characters that deserves a multi-movie arc,
Mhm.
and you waste them in a single instance, right? Like in no other instance of the MCU do they waste such a good character. Actually, that was another argument with Civil War, was you had Zemo there and you wasted Zemo on like maybe like 10 minutes throughout the movie versus being able to, now we see that he's in a multi-movie arc. But if you didn't have this, then Zemo would just be a wasted character sitting in the wraps.
Whoa, Zemo was not wasted. He did the job in Civil War. He did
But
the
he
job.
was-
He
he had
tore them
10 minutes.
apart.
But hang on, he had 10 minutes of screen time.
And he tore them apart
I
within
think,
those 10
I think
minutes.
Zemo was fine. I think Zemo was fine. I
No,
don't
my
agree.
point is that if you only use these characters one time, you're going to piss off fans because fans are like, they're fans of the villains as much as they are of the heroes.
Right.
So like people want to see more Zemo. That's why we're seeing more Zemo now.
Right.
You needed a character that people don't give a shit to see again, which the Flag Smashers are that. They're not going to build some greater storyline off the Flag Smashers.
Well,
They're using
WandaVision
them
didn't do
just
that. WandaVision didn't do that. Agatha, everyone wants to see
WandaVision
Agatha,
arguably created the biggest villain right now, which is Wanda herself.
Well, besides that in particular,
Also,
I'm saying
WandaVision
that,
was
like,
actually good. Okay,
Versus,
how much better
I'm
would
just
this
saying-
show have been if he had been called John Walker and Isaiah Bradley? And just ignore the other two boring dudes.
that doesn't. Why would
No,
that happen?
the
doesn't
whole
make-
show would not progress forward.
No,
Look,
Why not?
you need
you
a
have to have-
flashback of them, though. I think that's what's missing is a flashback episode for either of them.
I mean,
I
I
mean,
agree
you had
that a
enough from
flashback
John
would be
Walker.
nice.
You had
John
enough
Walker.
flashbacks from John Walker. I think Isaiah Bradley, it turned out to be probably the most interesting part of the show, which was surprising because I felt like the scene where they introduced him in episode 3 or something was kind of weird because he only interacted with Bucky. He told him to fuck off. It wasn't really that good. But I mean, let's go character by character. Did you like what they did with Sam? Let's start with Manda, John, Manda.
I mean, you know what my answer is. I thought he was written extremely well throughout the 6 episodes, except for episode 3, he was sidelined, which really pissed me off. From the very beginning, you knew it was his show. I felt that it was his show. The spotlight was on Mackie. I thought he did a great job, and his character developed, and to the point where he is Captain America. And I thought there was a very good reveal, and that he represents him quite well. He embodies Sam Wilson as Cap, and I think that they did a great job with Sam, except for episode 3. So I'm excited to see what happens in the future for him.
Right?
Honestly, so it's really weird looking back how Mackie started as the Falcon in 2014 and watching him build up to his own titular show and stuff like that. And looking back at it, like I said, I feel like this should have been a movie. I kind of like that it was a show at the same time because I do feel like it gave me a little bit more time to breathe and think about Mackie and Sam Wilson as a character becoming the next Captain America. I don't feel like it was too rushed for him to do it. I like how they went through the motions of not accepting it because he doesn't think he's worthy, to having Bucky be the kind of conduit through Sam and Captain Steve's past to kind of help him guide his way to becoming Captain America, and giving him that fulfillment that he can do it, and also represent a whole undermined community in the African American community, and taking up that mantle, representing a flag that didn't necessarily represent them. And I kind of like how they all intertwined that in this season. And with Manda, episode 3 really wasn't that great in terms of Mackie, but overall I liked it.
So
Here's
I
the thing.
I-
These episodes blur together to me, but go ahead.
So I was gonna say,
It's, I have them all in my mind. Sorry, John. Like it's just
no, I get it. I've been saying this for weeks, and Gabe tells me I'm wrong, but I think that this should have been released in a binge watch setting. I don't think that it was episodically good. I think that would have lent itself to the movie aspect, like Ryan's talking about. Some shows are just better binge. Like WandaVision left us on the edge of our seat week after week, and that was a great episodic show. This is something that you just want to sit down once, take the 6 hours, finish it, knock it out. And I honestly think if you go back and watch it in one big swoop, it'll be a much better, more cohesive storyline than trying to do it individually week at a.
I already did it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say about Sam. I've said it many times. I've never found Sam Wilson to be a compelling character. And it's not Anthony Mackie's fault. I think the writer just wrote him as a sidekick. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. He was written as a sidekick. He was always a sidekick. The first 4 episodes of the show did nothing to convince me otherwise. They had this like story about the boat, which was like completely stupid. Didn't really go anywhere in the end. I thought Bucky was gonna date the sister or something. It didn't really go anywhere. Point being, I like what they did in episode 5. Episode 5 was by far the best. It was like their red wedding. It was like their their moment. And I like because it's hard to make a character that's all good interesting, and that's why Zack Snyder makes Superman. He turns him into a murderer because it's hard to make somebody that's always good interesting, right? So what Marvel did with Captain America is make him react to what the world is doing to him. Like, how is the world affecting my principles? Because I have a way of thinking, but then the world keeps changing around me. So how do I react? So what they did with Sam in episode 5 was exactly that. He went to Isaiah Bradley, and he was like, like, this is what America has done to black people. This is like what they did to me. You should not be an icon for them. But Sam knows that he feels like he's an icon. He's a veteran. He keeps fighting for good. So the way he reconciles that conversation he has with Bucky, I think that was the best Sam character work ever in the MCU. Just for that character. And then the 6th episode, which is the CGI version of Sam flying around, and it's just whatever. So ultimately, I was convinced. That's my point. I was convinced he's going to get a great Captain America. He seems really excited, which is kind of like contagious. So good for him. I mean, that's the best I can say. But what about Bucky? Let's start with John.
I mean, all right. So Bucky, I will say the last episode was like the best episode for Bucky for me. And even for like my fiance sitting there and she's watching it, and she we're watching episode 6 and she's like, finally, and then to her point, Bucky is a 110-year-old super soldier, and these other guys are like these newbie super soldiers, and she's just like, wouldn't he just wipe the floor with them? Like, wouldn't he just kick their ass? Like, he's been fighting people for 100 years. Like, he obviously is going to be better than them. Plus, he's got the arm. So, I think that Bucky didn't get any justice until the last episode. I was kind of happy with that last episode actually making him into more badass, because otherwise he just I don't want to say he seems kind of pathetic during up until that episode, but he kind of does. He's just kind of mopey and he's sad, and
He sucks, man. He's boring as hell. I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead, but he sucks as a character. Nothing in the show. They only made him be really horny. Hey Zach, because he wanted to date first the lady at the restaurant, then the sister. I mean, I was surprised he didn't try dating the shrink.
I'm gonna say what I have to say after. Anyways.
Go ahead. Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, let Ryan go first.
Honestly,
Bucky in Black Panther 2. I mean, you can roll that also, Ryan.
Yeah, honestly, I just don't know what they really want to do with the character anymore. I don't think they really know what they want to do with him anymore. I feel like he should have wrapped up with Captain America in Endgame and kind of be like, Buck, this is him going off living his life now, kind of done with this whole saving everyone in bullshit fighting. But they kept him around, and I think they obviously did that just to have some remnants of Steve's past and to try and interconnect the worlds that way, if that really makes sense. And I think that was his only purpose. I do think we spoke about this on the Suit Up Geek Fix, I think this week or last week, but we definitely think that Bucky is going to be in the Wakanda TV series
Mhm.
at least. I think
Yeah.
he's going to go from
Mhm.
this show to Captain America 4, whatever that may be.
Mhm.
And then whatever happens in that film, I think he's going to have to go back to Wakanda and Zemo is going to play into that show. That's what I think they're going to do. But honestly, I don't see him going past being a secondary character at this point. He's been in the MCU since 2011, and I think his only option was after Endgame. And at that point, it seemed obvious that Marvel really wanted to go with Sam Wilson. And now he's just kind of strolling in the wind, just going from project to project, kind of just being there now.
I think that it's
That's
a waste.
floating
I
around.
think it's a
Yeah.
huge waste of something that you could have done. I mean, the reason that they kept him around, to be blunt, is because he had movies left on his contract. Because Sebastian Stan got signed for like a 9-movie contract to start. So
Why? Why though? Like
because in the formation. So when they
sorry,
when they-
Amanda. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'm good.
In the original MCU, they signed everybody for either 9 or 10-year deal or
Well,
9 or
that's
10 movie contract. So
him and
he got-
Mackie are at 9.
yeah, and same thing with the guy who did Crossbones.
Frank Grillo. I want
Grillo.
to see him back. Bring
He's
him back.
pissed. He actually got really pissed after they
He
killed him.
shouldn't have
in
died.
Civil War.
Yeah, he should have.
So
He was
anyway-
back for Endgame, though. He wasn't Endgame.
He had like a
Whatever.
7 or 8
Yeah.
movie deal. Anyway,
He's aight.
All
He's
right.
aight.
Amanda, defend Bucky because we're gonna move on to secondary characters.
Oh God. I loved him in this. I think that he finally has closure after everything that he's been through, and that we finally get to see him become a fully formed person in his own identity over this 6-episode arc. And I completely understand what Ryan's saying, where it's like it's a piece of Steve staying with Sam at this point, but we do see
Everyone in this show was a piece of Steve.
no,
everyone.
no, not really. You only had Sam. Sharon's useless. I don't even want to talk about her, to be perfectly honest.
We'll
sorry,
talk
Ryan.
about
I'm
Sharon.
sorry, but like I can't
We'll
with
get to
Sharon.
Sharon.
Talk about my wife.
Steve-O.
Don't worry.
I'm so sorry, but like I couldn't deal with Sharon. Sharon's like whatever. I'm saying that directly to the Shield, the people that mean the most to that Shield, to Steve, it is Sam and Bucky. So the two of them going through this together, their bond also was formed in a different way. That's why episode 5 is the best Bucky episode. It's the best Sam Wilson episode because of that one conversation that they did have. So whatever Sam said to Bucky during that conversation obviously flipped a switch and he approached things differently. I don't think he was boring at all in these 6 episodes. I thought it was more of like an internal struggle for him and what he didn't want to do. He didn't want to like fight people unless like provoked, obviously, because John Walker was like friggin' pissing him off. But it's just the fact that like he was changing. And Sam was also like helping him in a like he didn't even know that he was helping him, but that's what he was doing within these 6 episodes. And then that's why in episode 5, when Sam invites him into his home, like that's comfort, that's a change, that's someone you can trust. And then that's what Bucky was searching for, even though he stayed by himself majority of the time. He was searching for that trust now that Steve was gone. So I think that they wrapped Bucky up in a nice little bow and his storyline is done. That's why I was kind of afraid that they were going to kill him off in the 6th episode, because you're right, there's nowhere to go from this. But wherever there is a Captain America, there is going to be a Bucky Barnes. That's just fact. That's just comic book history. There's no way you're going to get rid of him just because of Sebastian Stan's chemistry. But you have to admit that their chemistry is great. Without Seb and Mackie's chemistry on the press tour, there's no
That's
way we would have
different.
even gotten a show. But
Yeah,
it
He's like,
translates.
so
But
you're
it
saying
translates.
he's like raisins to the MCU. You know, raisins are disgusting, but they're everywhere.
whoa,
That's what he is.
I'm saying their friendship off screen translates on screen, and you feel that it's a different connection that they have with each other. That's just the way that I look at it. So I don't see Seb going anywhere soon, even though I know and I understand that his storyline is completely wrapped up. I get
It
it.
was wrapped up like 10 movies ago. It was
No,
wrapped
it
up
wasn't,
in,
because
in
he was-
Wakanda. Just like
No.
he should have just stayed snap.
Nah.
You know, just like
Nah.
anyway. Let's move on.
That's just rude.
In the
That's
interest of time, everybody's gonna pick one secondary character and we'll talk about him. So let me start. Simo.
Mhm.
/ Sharon Carter. This applies to both, but one of you can take Sharon Carter.
Yikes.
he did not act like the person he was in Captain America: Civil War. And I know comic book, blah blah. I don't care. In the movies, he was just a guy. He was a military guy. He didn't seem to be all that rich. I know.
Are you still hung up on this Baron thing?
Yes.
You're still hung up on this?
He was not a wealthy guy with a private plane and a butler. He was not. He was just some guy.
How do you know?
You didn't know that. Exactly.
You didn't know that he had less than...
Okay, what are you, the writers of the show? Like, how do you know that? How do you know he doesn't have a nuclear bomb up his butt?
So
like, because you didn't set that up. So now he's like this mobster, and then he wears the mask for one scene with no explanation. It doesn't ever come back. That was fucking stupid.
Technically,
that was stupid. It's like, I know that from the comics. 10 people said, but like nobody. I was like, I don't read comics. I was like, why is he wearing a mask?
There was a scene that they cut from episode 6 that involved him putting the mask on again and doing that whole freaking thing. There was a scene.
Okay, what is the mask? What is the mask?
It's comic book accurate. Why was there an explanation?
Okay, let's just have like random ass shit from the comic. No. These people.
I really don't care about that.
This is not a comic book. This is a movie.
It doesn't matter.
This is a show.
Why does Sam change his suit?
Because he gets it from the Wakanda guys.
So he didn't have to put her on. Why did he change his suit for? Why does he have to have?
He didn't have one. He left it with the tourist guy.
He needed the upgrade.
He needed it. That was set up.
Turn down a free upgrade.
Why is it that specific?
Specifically, I believe that it was a great idea to have the suit being made by the people in Wakanda.
Brilliant.
And it was a bit of a missed opportunity to me that the suit didn't look like it was made of vibranium. It kind of just looked like a Captain America suit. To me, it was a bit of a mistake. But character John.
What do you? I don't know what to argue about here, honestly. Like,
no, pick a character and give your thoughts. Like John Walker is a douchebag. He looks like his dad, Kurt Russell, and that's why I hate him.
Yeah, but we're supposed to think he's a douchebag.
I know. John hates Kurt Russell, Amanda. Tell him.
What?
Oh yeah, I hate Kurt Russell.
What? He's Santa Claus. What's wrong with you? How dare you? He's Santa with the beard.
John just upset some child out there.
So
it's like the fourth episode in a row.
We've covered this topic enough. But I just think he has a really spotty acting career.
Bucky was vaccinated. That's why he stopped wearing a mask.
So the only character that I'm not really happy about is the whole power broker thing, because I think that someone else pulling her strings would have been a much better storyline. Like if Val would have been pulling Sharon's strings the entire time, then that would have been a much better ending to me than Sharon being the power broker. So I was supremely disappointed with that. I thought that that's not like the MCU is better than that. They should have given us.
I told you. Everybody in this show are just characters from the Captain America movies. Even the Wakandans that they brought in, they didn't bring in the Nigeria. They didn't bring in any of those guys.
That's why
they brought in the lady that was the bodyguard for like 2 seconds in Captain America: Civil War. Great, she was good. She was good in the show.
And the main
whatever, it's Disney.
She's filming for the last season of The Walking Dead anyway, I think.
No, she's not.
No, she's out of Walking Dead. She's been out for like 3 years.
But she's doing Black Panther too.
Why
pretty
is it
soon
a
they're
big
starting.
Deal? Why can't we just have
this show filmed
Dora?
like a year ago? Sharon's just Mephisto who turns into a Skrull.
Exactly.
Clearly, that's where they're going.
Bro, they did my wife
know.
so wrong, bro. I can't even be.
Who's your wife?
Sharon Carter, bro. Like
what?
I can't even, bro. Listen, I got like this massive.
How is she your wife,
bro? Listen, I'm about to tell you why she's my wife. So like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. So when I first saw her in like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I knew she was Agent 13 before that movie came out. But like, she was that girl next door. She was the kind of cutesy dootsy, but like she's like, freeze, motherfucker! I'm Agent 13. I'm part of Shield. And then her and Cap had that nice thing, but then that got completely wasted because Mama, bro, listen, listen. But then Mama Peggy, she had to come in, twerk her shit. Then Cap went back to her side, and so then we got that whole nice sweet endgame thing. But what happened to my baby girl Sharon Carter in between Civil War and this show. I couldn't tell you because she was barely in this season. I wish I
You're
knew.
never gonna know.
But now all of a sudden she's the power broker. First of all, the power broker of what? I don't even know what the fuck she was doing other than using her fucking phone powers of calling people for most of this season. Oh, Sam, this person's there. Oh, Sam,
But
is
she's
Zemo
never
there?
been a strong character in the first place.
Yeah, but she's gorgeous and she deserves
That
more
doesn't
screen
mean
time.
shit.
So when I say it, like, right, like when I say, like, oh shit, Amanda said that.
Bro, Amanda, stop
Wait,
coming
what
at
did
me.
you say? You said somebody was gorgeous?
Always. Every single actor in the MCU is gorgeous.
Oh yeah, but that's just to mess with you. I mean, it's fine.
I don't.
See?
I agree with you. I mean, I think she's a worthless character throughout this entire show. She's
Yeah.
toss away. And
I think they could have done something though.
Here, I'll tell
they
you.
could have. That's what I'm saying.
That's
they
why
had
I'm
a
mad.
golden.
These-
Well,
No.
ultimately, jokes aside, I feel like they definitely could have done something. I think
No.
Emily Van Camp is a good actress, and Amanda's just mad to be mad, bro. Like,
No, I'm not,
Also,
because
why
I'm gonna
was she
tell you what.
fighting? Was she fighting her own men in the?
yeah, she definitely
It
just set
doesn't
that
make
shit
any
up.
sense. My issue with
Why
Sharon
doesn't it
Carter,
make sense? She's like the power broker, bro. Why can't she beat the shit out of her own men? Why wouldn't they allow
killed
that?
Why
them.
would she?
because
Why the
it's
fuck
dumb.
would
It's her
you?
own men. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Why would you do
Yes,
that?
this is terrible.
Because
Okay, Manda, just
they've made it clear that they're disposable to her.
Manda, I'm curious. What do you think? What did you end up thinking about John Walker? Just real quick, because we're like.
Yeah, sure. I hated him as Captain America. He has a very punchable face with the cowl on. I just didn't give a shit about him the entire
Makes
time.
Captain obvious.
I didn't
But
like him.
that's the point.
But
That's the point.
Yeah.
But I respected Wyatt Russell. Dude did his job. Like, that was fantastic. But I kind of, he grew on me in episode 6 where he became U.S. agent, and then I was excited for this
get
role.
outta here.
It's true. I'm not joking. Like, that kind of flipped it for me because I'm
Bro.
excited for the future of that, to see the Thunderbolts, and if they dive into that with Val, with Julie Louis-Dreyfus, I think it's going to be interesting. I'm not saying I love him.
Of course, you
very
like the one character they 180 at the last second. That's all I'm saying. Of
But
course,
I'm
you like
excited.
That
for the
change
future
made
of-
no sense.
Dude,
That
that's
change
why-
made no sense.
It didn't make
No
sense
sense.
because when he was
But as
about
long
to
as it's
kill
on the track
Carly,
that you like it much better now.
Manda, he was never evil. He was never an evil man. He
I
took
understand.
revenge on somebody. So
Yes.
his arc being like, "I'm not gonna kill Carly" is stupid.
I know I didn't like that.
Sorry, no, his arc wasn't even. I don't want to kill Carly. It was like, I'm gonna save the people in the
right.
that are-
So that scene is what I'm talking about. If that
Yeah.
scene wasn't there, then him going to talk to Val and switching to U.S. agent and all that would have made a bit more sense.
No,
I
wouldn't
think
have.
it would
Because
have.
in that scene, he's such a different character from just his tone of voice,
agree.
his posture. Like, bro's
that
happy,
was
bro.
that was
he's
that was
like,
post-COVID.
he's happy in the last
yeah.
episode.
I
He's
am-
just like, "Ah!" Like, bro's going all Punisher in
Right.
this bitch. Next thing you know, he's
So
like all,
I think
you know what?
I think that he should have killed Carly. I think he should have been the one to kill her.
She should have died
Period.
earlier, to be honest.
I just
Carly
think that
sucked. Carly
She
was
should
a
have
bad
died
villain,
right
and
after
she was
she
the name of
killed-
her
I
super villain
couldn't-
group. All right, last couple of
do it.
questions, really quick. Do we want more shows like this one, or do we want something different? Do we want a season 2? Like, what do you see like happening? I don't want a show like this. I think this show sucked. I hated everything about it, except for episode 5 and what I told you about Sam. No, I didn't hate it. I didn't fucking hate it. I mean, it's just the internet hate. But I thought it was like, So let's start with John. Do you want another show like this? You want a season 2? What do you want? Cap
I'm not
4?
gonna like. I mean, I keep going back to this. If I can watch it all at once, I would be happy with it. Am I gonna wait another 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever week at a time? Probably not. I kind of have a feeling if they do a season 2 or another Marvel show comes out like this, I'm gonna end up just waiting until the end and binging it all at once because like I just. It was crap waiting week after week. Like I didn't get a payoff. Like there was with WandaVision, I got a payoff every single week and it got better. There's no payoff to this show for waiting. Like it was
none. No payoff. Like it just doesn't seem like the impact on the universe is going to be as big. But I don't know. Brian, what do you think?
No, honestly, I see it this way. Either you make it a movie, and if you don't make it a movie, you have to know when to drop it all at once or do the weekly episode. And after the title change, it's really confusing what they want to do because they're making a Captain America 4, yet this is not technically considered a limited series, so it leaves the opportunity for a second season. But at the end of the season, they changed the title of the show. So how would that work as a second season?
I personally think the reason why they changed the title of the show was
No, I know why. I know why they
that's
did
all I'm
it.
saying. Like, I don't think there's anything behind it in regards to season 2 or not.
But not why
The
not
show
just
can't
make
be
it a
called
limited?
that because it's the title of another Marvel movie. And Amanda and I had
No,
the
it's
discussion
not.
this morning. You were like, "I'm gonna binge Captain America and the Winter Soldier," and I was like, "You cannot because it's a movie."
Oh wait, now I got what you meant.
Oh, is that was what I was saying?
I didn't get it. I was
God.
like half asleep. Gabe, please, you can't give me that stuff early in the morning. I didn't get it. I was out of it.
See, it wasn't
I thought you were,
early,
I
'cause
thought you
was
were
awake.
making fun of me for the hashtag. Anyways, but
Oh, the hashtag's fine. All right. Did anybody, Amanda, you want my show like this or not?
listen, I love these characters. That's the issue, and I think that that's my bias. That's because it's a preference to me that I love. Shut up. Because I love these characters, so I wouldn't want a season 2. I would just do a movie, give Mackie his trilogy, let him lead the Avengers, do the whole freaking situation, whatever he has to do. I think that keeping it as a TV series isn't doing much, and it's hurting his stories and his storyline and his entire character, I think. And other characters that are in the show, like Torres is going to be as Falcon. Like I want to see that on the big screen, and I want to see more of Isaiah and kind of dive into those things rather than just getting like little tidbits in like different episodes. So I think that I would rather have a trilogy, which he's going to inevitably get. Fingers crossed, but still.
Max says apparently Cap 4 is already in development. I would have probably preferred the series to be a film if I really thought about it, but I still really enjoy the story. Can't wait to see where it goes. Okay, well, a movie would be less screen time than this, so it's not a downgrade to give people their own series. I mean,
but when
it's
you
not
look at it, the Flag Smashers take up so much time in the show. So if you cut out like one whole enemy, you're cutting out a third of the show right there.
Yeah.
So I think there is a way they could have condensed it down and make it work for a U.S. agent build up, and then the Wakanda Zemo stuff if they really did want to keep that in, and fuck the power broker stuff. But if they really wanted to, I guess they could. But I definitely agree that it definitely would have worked better as a movie. I prefer trilogy. I think that they shouldn't be doing series for these, and like John said, drop them all at once if you're gonna give us a TV show without payoffs every week, because it's the payoffs that keep us coming back. That's why
but you know that's your millennial instant gratification.
No,
it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's
you millennials, all of you.
No, it's not.
I'm older than you.
Oh my god!
You're still a millennial. You're still a millennial.
Guys, Zen.
The point being said.
No, this is not that kind of podcast, man.
Yeah.
No Zen here.
So look, there's a couple points I want to hit. One, no, some shows are better binged. WandaVision, I would not want to binge. I really liked WandaVision being in its episodic state. I think it made the payoff week after week better.
Okay.
Two things. The other thing is, how long can they keep this going for? Anthony Mackie's older than Chris Evans. Chris Evans already said, like, I'm kind of done with this. It's been 10 years. Anthony Mackie's going to be 50 soon. By the time that if they did another trilogy,
and he's older.
Really?
He's in his 40s. Yeah,
he's in his 40s.
I think it was like 26 or something.
No,
like
he's in his
39.
Beautiful. It makes sense that you think he's 26.
He's not 39.
No, I thought he was born in 78.
Yeah, so do the math. He's 44.
22.
43.
Yeah,
okay, that's still that's young enough.
Listen, but that's BS. Robert Downey Jr. did it until how old?
50.
Let's not go there. Like,
I'm saying, okay, but look, if we take 10 years, listen.
Roger Moore did it until he was like 65.
Yeah, exactly.
But listen, Rob looks older, where Mackie is just going to look flawless the whole time.
First off, the thing with Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man has no physical ability. It's all a suit. It's the same way that Bruce Wayne does it because when he gets old, he just uses a
Why
suit.
they're stunt doubles.
Captain America is going to be a little bit different. We can't have Anthony Mackie start to get old on screen and still be jacked. It'll look a little
He
weird.
looks like he's 20. He
Yeah,
looks like he's
21,
20 and he's
34.
fit. He's gonna be perfectly fine.
But
John.
you think in 12, 13 years he's going to be fine?
He won't be doing it in 12, 13.
That's what I'm
He
saying. Hang on.
won't.
That's what I'm.
point.
That is exactly my point. I'm a little
Once
worried.
his
It's like
trilogy's done,
have-
he's out,
Nah.
bro.
a trilogy is going to take at least 9 years.
He's not going to
guys.
have a trilogy. I don't think there's going to be 3 more.
I don't think he can do a trilogy.
I think it's
don't
going to be
think so.
one Cap movie
One
and then
or two
maybe
at the
two
most.
Avengers. Yeah, and then 2 Avengers movies.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think.
exactly.
Okay,
So
so let's just say
that's
what
3
I'm
movies. Let's say
Yes.
3 movies, and the
Yeah.
next Avengers isn't coming out to at least 2025. And then let's say another
What?
3
What?
years.
Where are you
to-
getting
No,
that from?
it's after
Where are you
that.
getting that from?
It's going to be after that.
Nah.
What?
They have it slated for the next 2 years.
They
Yeah,
do
with
it,
no
yes.
Avengers
No.
movie.
2 years. That's
So-
20 years
No,
already.
that's what he's saying.
So-
So 2025, like that makes
That's why I
sense.
said at like the earliest 2025.
Yeah, so that's only like
Here's the thing. I think Manda wants a Captain America movie where Anthony Mackie looks like Roger Moore looked in A View to a Kill.
I just no.
And then get him
listen,
like a 20-year-old girlfriend
Yeah.
and just make it creepier.
I'll do it. I don't care.
You're
Anyway,
not 20 years
I know
old.
you will.
I
That's
think
the problem.
it's good enough. Like, Rude, you made me older. Rude,
You're not
don't
20.
do
You're
that.
like, what, 24, 25?
26.
She's 30.
Stop.
26. 26.
No.
See?
It's even worse. I cry. But regardless,
I want a trilogy.
You're
Yeah.
the youngest
This
of
is
the
the
group.
problem.
You know that, right?
This
So
is
you're calling
this
us
is my
old.
pro- this is my problem. Is I really do want a trilogy out of Anthony Mackie, and I think he could do a great
I
job.
think you could.
The problem is I think that by the time that we got to that trilogy level, that would be 2 to 3 phases through. Now we're really talking about what 2027 until
You
we're
got it.
done.
You got it.
You know, Sack's theory
I don't think it's gonna
that,
be a
that
big
the
event.
scrolls go around this show kind of, hypes me up even more for Secret Invasion. So that'd be fine. I mean,
I don't think it's gonna be like a big event though, quote
don't think so.
unquote. They already said that it's not gonna be as big as it was in the comics for like obvious reasons. But like looking at the cast they're getting, it definitely looks like it's gonna be a more condensed and focused show than the massive Secret Invasion plot line of all the Avengers turning out to be Skrulls and shit like that.
But isn't what is Oscar Isaac coming up in?
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight.
That's
Oh,
They-
Secret Invasion is Emilia Clarke.
It's
Oh,
got
yeah.
the dude that played Malcolm X in One Night in
Kingsley
Miami.
Benadryl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's what
one
Olivia
more.
Colman.
Olivia Colman. Yeah, just nominated last
like,
night.
bro, they got some Oscar.
For nothing. Nothing happened last
people.
night, Amanda. Just clarifying.
Nothing happened last night.
Nothing happened. All right, it's time because we're almost at the hour mark. We could rant for 2 more hours, I'm sure.
Okay.
But ultimately, I said I hate this show. I don't. But fuck this show. I just hope we get better stuff. I wish we could have seen Mortal Kombat Annihilation, but we will get to that eventually. Why don't you read yourselves out, Amanda, you first, and then Ryan, just what you want to plug and stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having me. I know I popped in a bit late, but this is great. You guys can always find me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, my YouTube channel, Candid Cinema, and my website, candidxcinema.com. I have a couple of videos coming out, including a ranking of each episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, plus my episode 6 review. So keep it on lock on my YouTube.
Go check that out. Ryan?
Man, I had to think about what to plug for a second, but like that's completely besides the point. You guys can follow me, Just Ryan again. You see, it's like right down. Fuck, I'm really bad at like aiming, but it's right there. That's my Twitter. I got my podcast, the Backroom Podcast. I had the 2 boys from Cinespection on to talk about Zack Snyder's not Justice League cut because we know that still wasn't the original cut. Just want to put that out there. That's completely besides the point. And you guys can follow the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast I do with 3 of my other boys. We do it every single week. We're doing a versus series on some Star Wars shiznit this Friday. So come join, have a beer, and enjoy.
I love it when you guys join. You bring a lot of dynamic to the show. You make it a lot more fun. Not to say John and I aren't fun, but you're always a good addition. John, people can find you at Joe Firth. Guys, I'm going to be posting right after this. I'm going to be posting a poll at Cinespection for what we're going to do next week, and it's going to be great because it's going to be either Vertical Limit versus Cliffhanger or Volcano versus Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak.
Ooh.
Like that.
Beautiful, beautiful. Give me
Yeah.
those movies straight to my eyeballs instead of this Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Hey.
But follow us on Set Cinespection on Twitter. Follow the Painted Lines and just have fun. Forget anything happened last night. I know we all did.
Yep.
So
What?
not because of the results, just because who gives a shit. All right. See you guys.
She does.
Oh, follow me. That Film Opinion Night is Bye.
Nice plug, Gabe.
Bye.